Propaganda press wields Biden's Russia blame game to gaslight Americans about expensive gas. Biden played an explicit role in limiting the U.S. oil industry, but the corrupt media are conveniently ignoring his track record. You know I'm not. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out. Also, subscribe if you're not a subscriber and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. And also check out my link in the description, my link tree. It has the link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. Also have a link to my merch store where I have Let's Go Brandon t-shirts. I will not comply t-shirt. Tons of t-shirts. And every T-shirt that you purchase, it goes to help fund what we're doing here. All right, let's talk about this news and this media propaganda. The propaganda press is wielding the Biden administration's excuses about Russia to gaslight Americans about skyrocketing prices at the gas pump. Despite the fact that domestic gas prices rose dramatically well before the Russian invasion of Ukraine, President Joe Biden has his team refused to take responsibility for rising costs at gas stations when the price of gas shot up nearly 50 cents more per gallon this week. It's crazy. The White House scrambled to set a narrative that once again exonerated the Biden administration from a self-inflicted crisis that could hurt Democrats in the 2022 midterms. And I've been predicting that it will. It's going to be a red wave that's going to sweep through during the midterms. But quote, it's going to go up, Biden claimed on Tuesday shortly after he halted Russian oil imports to punish Vladimir Putin for invading Ukraine. Quote, can't do much right now. Russia is responsible. He said it quick. He quick playing the blame game. Quick. Quote, Putin war is already hurting Americans at the gas pump, Biden added in a press conference. Since Putin began his military buildup on Ukraine borders, the price at the gas pump in America went up 75 cents. I'm going to do everything I can to minimize Putin's price hike here at home. So he quick to blame Putin, but he is the one that killed the Keystone Pipeline XL. I mean, I blasted him when he first did it. Soon he got in office, that was the first thing he did, and I was the first person to talk about this. And now look, it's coming back to bite Americans in the butt. But White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki also lied about the effect Biden's poor energy policy has had on Americans, blaming the Russia-Ukraine conflict for rising gas prices. Quote, the increase, she said, is a direct result of the invasion of Ukraine. I mean, just lies upon lies upon lies. But I will say that most, even though the media is pushing this propaganda, they're pushing this narrative. The administration is pushing this narrative. I will say most people, most reasonable, rational people, do know that Biden is the cause of this, and I'm surprised that most people are blaming the rightful person for this, which is Biden. But one day later, the corrupt media predictably latched into the convenient narrative in their own coverage of the record high gasoline price spike. Quote, Putin's price hike will be borne by American consumers. ABC News tweeted, echoing the Biden administration's talking points. It's just madness. Outlets such as CNN smeared Republicans for pointing out Biden's obvious role in exacerbating the country's energy troubles and making Americans pay for his ignorance. They said, quote, Republicans largely ignore the global factors left over from the pandemic and the Russian invasion of Ukraine that are weighing on gasoline costs, CNN claimed. I mean, they're quick to defend this guy. Look how much they attacked Trump when he was in office compared to how much they protect Biden. They try to explain away his gaffes and say what he meant to say was, and when people don't like his policies or something, they try to change the policy. Well, the policy is not really doing it. They do go out of their way to defend this guy, and it's sickening. But quote, and they accuse Biden of leaving Americans vulnerable to energy shocks overseas by canceling the Keystone XL pipeline from Canada when he first took office. They claim he doomed Americans to high gasoline prices by pausing oil and gas leases on public land and by suspending oil leases in the Arctic, a refuge to fight climate change. Political claim that, quote, they have also used the topic to criticize Biden for limiting domestic oil and gas production that they argue can fill the gap created by a Russian import ban. I mean, but it's logic. It's logic. If you close down pumping of oil, if you close down pipelines, it's gonna disincentivize these companies to go in and pump oil in these places because they have no way to transport it. It's more expensive to transport it. So why would they do that? I mean, it's basic economics. But Washington Post columnist Captain Rampel also recently accused the GOP of, quote, laying a trap for Biden on Russian energy sanctions. MSNBC and NBC also jumped at the opportunity to pile on Republicans instead of indicating Biden for his policy failures. Quote, Republicans cheer Russian oil ban and jeer Biden for rising gas prices. NBC reporters Sahil Kapoor and Scott Wong wrote, the truth is, Biden has played an explicit role in limiting the U.S. oil industry, but the corrupt media are conveniently ignoring his track record when they cover rising prices at the pump. On his first day in office, Biden nuked the Keystone XL pipeline because it threatened his green energy agenda. And when he did it, I blasted him for it. I was one of the first people to blast him on this Keystone pipeline exodus. But over the last year, the president has also canceled Arctic drilling leases, rained down taxes and regulations on domestic production, and publicly declared war on oil and gas. I mean, he literally said that. But instead of turning to domestic production to fill the hole left by Russian imports, Biden is considering buying oil from other corrupt pro-Moscow regimes. I mean, it's just bizarro world. So we're not going to buy it from this despot, Putin. We're going to buy it from another one, instead of us producing it here in our own country and not relying on other countries. But CNN, ABC, the Washington Post, and other corporate media outlets aren't mentioning the president's anti-oil agenda in their coverage of expensive gas. Instead, most of them are refusing to mention him at all, but they are happy to use the White House talking points. Since before Biden assumed office, corrupt outlets have tried to absolve him of any blame for crises he created. The drastic dump in gas prices after Biden waged war on oil and gas, unfortunately, is no exception. So the propaganda is going to continue, and we're going to continue to fight it here. But let me know what you think about all this, about the media explicit propaganda. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out themarkrepublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.